Mauricio Ruffy, the new UFC star, is about to make his mark once again in the Octagon, and he's brimming with confidence. After his explosive debut in May this year at UFC Rio, where he knocked out Australian Jamie Mullarkey in the first round and took home the Performance of the Night bonus, the fighter from Sao Paulo is back and hungry for victory. Ruffy will face American Charlie Campbell at UFC 309 in New York on November 16th. The fight promises to be electrifying, and the anticipation is only growing, especially because the main card will feature the highly anticipated showdown between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title. Ruffy is more than ready for this new battle, and assured in an interview with Tatami that he won't let this fight go past the second round. The wait is finally over. On November 16th, I'm going to put on another show for you. The love from the messages I received was amazing, and I was just as eager to return as you were. Now it's time to show everything I've been preparing. I really wanted to fight right after UFC 301, but I had to take care of some injuries. 3 fights were scheduled, all canceled, but now it's official. The battle is set, and it's happening, the fighter revealed, but Ruffy knows his opponent won't be a walk in the park. Charlie Campbell, undefeated in the UFC with 2 fights, promises to be a tough opponent with a well-rounded style both on the ground and in striking. He's a very versatile guy with a good game both standing and on the ground, but I'm confident he won't survive until the 3rd round. I'm preparing to win by any means, even 30-27, but honestly, I don't think it's going past the 2nd round, the Brazilian said confidently. With an impressive record of 10 wins, all by knockout, and only 1 loss, Mauricio Ruffy is used to putting on a show and promises to continue this successful trajectory. He made it to the UFC via Dana White's Contender Series after knocking out Raimon Magomedaliev, and since then, he hasn't stopped shining. Now, with 5 consecutive victories, the Fighting Nerds fighter is ready for another war in the Octagon, and the fans can't wait. Riding the wave of success and expectations in the MMA world as Mauricio Ruffy prepares for his UFC 309 showdown against Charlie Campbell, attention is already starting to shift toward another blockbuster event, UFC 312, scheduled for early 2025 in Australia. And of course, when we talk about Australia, one giant name echoes through the UFC halls: Alexander Volkanovski. The former featherweight champion is determined to get back in action and wants to secure his spot on the Sydney card, whether fighting for a title or headlining an epic bout against none other than Brazilian Diego Lopes. Volkanovski, who has already established himself as one of the biggest names in global MMA, made it clear in a recent interview that he'll do whatever it takes to be at UFC 312 on February 8th. "I will be in Sydney 100%. Whether it's for the title, interim, or even in the lightweight division, it doesn't matter. If it's not for gold, then let it be against Diego Lopes. That would be an exciting fight," declared the Australian, eager to put on another show for his fans. This potential fight between Volkanovski and Diego Lopes promises to fire up the crowd. Lopes, who is on a hot streak in the UFC, has already racked up 5 wins in 6 fights, cementing his name by defeating Brian Ortega at UFC 306 in September 2024. For the Brazilian, an opportunity to face Volkanovski would be another step toward ultimate recognition, putting him on the path to the top of the featherweight division. Volkanovski's push for a big fight aligns perfectly with what we've seen recently from Mauricio Ruffy. Like the Brazilian, Volkanovski is a gritty fighter who always promises thrilling battles. Ruffy, after his brilliant debut at UFC Rio, doesn't shy away from a challenge, boldly stating that Charlie Campbell won't make it past the 2nd round in their upcoming clash. Both fighters share the same unwavering confidence and determination to put on a show in the Octagon, further fueling fans' expectations. If Volkanovski manages to secure his fight at UFC 312, whether against Diego Lopes or another big name in the division, fans will be treated to a true battle of titans. Meanwhile, at UFC 309, Ruffy will be ready to knock out his opponent once again, making Brazilian MMA shine even brighter. There is a growing connection between these events, with fighters from different countries all sharing the same goal: to impress and reach the top. Volkanovski, on the other hand, has faced a more challenging period, with 3 losses in his last 4 fights. After reigning as the featherweight champion for 4 years, he was defeated by Ilia Topuria at UFC 298 in February of this year. However, the Australian hasn't lost focus and continues his pursuit of another chance to shine, this time in his homeland. He knows that a showdown with Diego Lopes, who is at one of the best moments of his career, would be electrifying and exactly what the fans want to see. At 29 years old, Diego Lopes has already proven to be a force to be reckoned with in the Octagon, defeating names like Dan Ige and Sodiq Yusuff. He, like Ruffy, is determined to make his mark in the UFC and solidify his name among the greats. Lopes' only loss in the UFC came in his debut, and since then, he has only improved, showing that he is a formidable opponent for anyone. Whether at UFC 309 with Mauricio Ruffy promising another spectacular knockout, or at UFC 312 with Volkanovski seeking redemption, or an exciting duel against Diego Lopes, global MMA is about to enter a period of historic fights. And for Brazilian fans, there's much to celebrate, as both Ruffy and Lopes are ready to represent the country and put on a show in the Octagon, taking the excitement of the fights to another level.